I'm recording now. I've just started recording. This is a training session on getting started in pathways. This time I'm going to share my screen. And I will start with Toastmasters International. On Toastmasters International, the first thing you have to do is log in. If you're not logged in, you just simply click the login button, type in your email address, and then type in the password that you've set for yourself. If you're not set a password, you click Forgot Password. They will give you a link to into your email to create a password. Create a password, and then you're in. Make sure that you write the password down so you can remember it. Log in future sessions. We're going to go into pathways. The first thing that people need to understand is to choose a path. If you click choose a path, that will take you to the next section with 3 blue boxes in it. The one on the left is a choose your path box. Click continue to path selection. You select English unless another English is your primary language. Personally, English is the only language I have any handle on. Sometimes I wonder about that. How would you like to access your materials, digital or printed? I always recommend digital. Even if you like the printed materials, inside the digital resource, you have a place where you can print your books. Therefore, if you like the printed books, you can do it that way and not have to spend the extra $25 it takes for them to print materials and send them to you several weeks in the future. You select digital resources. Scroll down. How would you like to select your learning path? You can view path options or take an assessment. If you take the assessment, there's going to be about 20 multiple choice questions that you will answer, the answers for which only you and the computer will ever see. Once you've taken that assessment, they will recommend one path and 2 secondary choices. Even at that, you can still choose some other path other than those I've recommended based on the answers that you give. Since this is a private assessment that no one but you and the computer sees, answer the questions honestly, and they will allow the computer to give you a better choice of the paths in which you might want to work. If you're basically familiar with the pathways, you can click the View Path Options and then click Continue. It will show you all 11 paths and give a basic idea of the path. If you want, for example, for presentation mastery, you see that it's recommended right now. It's usually the first one that they recommend. 80% of people who start in pathways start here because this is basic public speaking. If you want to know more about it, you click the plus sign. The words learn more about the presentation mastery path, and it'll give you a bigger overview. You can even click view all projects in this path, and it will take you to the 5 different levels and what is happening in those levels. They're elected projects. You can select those. It'll tell you what those projects are. There's a great deal that you can learn before you even choose which path you want to work in. As I move backwards, take out everything to the back of the beginning. If I select presentation mastery path, and move down to the bottom and click continue. Now, if you notice here, these 3 paths, engaging humor, motivational strategies, persuasive influence, are grayed out. I cannot purchase this path because I currently have it in process in my base camp. It only allows you to choose from those you've not selected. If you're brand new, all 11 will be available to you. Once you've selected a path, click continue. The verification page will pop up. Says confirm your selection. I've selected presentation mastery. You click continue. As you move forward, it will show you your shipping address, which is brought in from Toastmasters International. If there's anything wrong in this, you know you need to correct it in Toastmasters International. You click next. Now, if this is your first path you've ever selected in Toastmasters, it will not ask you for payment method because your first path is always free when you first become a Toastmaster. After that first path, each path costs $20. There have been a couple of exceptions where they offered an additional free path, but those options have expired. Therefore, if you're brand new, you can get one path. All other paths cost $20 per path, which is much less expensive than the traditional education program was with the extra advanced manual books that you had to purchase. If you're purchasing one, you simply select your credit card information, enter your credit card information, click next, and place your order. Once you place your order, it will take it a moment, depending on your bandwidth and the number of people working on Toastmasters International website at that moment. And it'll say, thank you for your order. Confirmation email will be sent to the email address that you have on file in Toastmasters International. When you started your process, you made sure your information was correct, including your email address. Make sure it got to you. Once you've done that, you return to the Pathway Start page. If you just purchase that path, it'll take probably 24 hours for that path to show up in your base camp. Let's go back to Pathways. Once you've chosen your path, you don't go to choose your path, you go to base camp. When you go to base camp, you'll find these same options, but you'll select go to base camp here. You see, I have another one called Login as Base Camp Manager. This is only available if you're a president, secretary, or vice president of education for your club. We'll talk about that on a different time.
Okay.
If you're a member of more than one club, you have an option to move it to whichever club for which you are a member. If you change it, it'll ask you to confirm that you intended to change it. This used to be more important when Toastmasters Pathways first launched. It's not as important now, but basically what this doesn't determine where your awards go when you earn something. This just determines which set of club officers are able to see your progress in Pathways at that time. Since I moved this to Northside Post Toasters, the Northside officers can see my progress. If I were to move it back to Capital Toastmasters could see my progress, and the Northside Post Toasters officers would no longer be able to see my progress. That's the primary purpose for selecting a club. It has nothing to do with your total awards and which club turns them in. We'll cover that later.
Okay.
Now, if you notice with Northside Post Toasters, when I moved it to this club, I did that intentionally to see, go to base camp is here, but the base camp manager button is no longer there because I'm not one of those three officers, the president, the secretary, or the vice president of education. Now, as I go to base camp, there are three spots here that you can select: Paths and Learning, which is where we're going to go in a moment. But I'm going to talk briefly about speech evaluations, tutorials, and resources. Tutorials and resources is all kinds of books and information to teach you what you need to know about Pathways. It's basically the training manual for Pathways. Speech evaluations, when you select speech evaluations, every speech evaluation for every project in Pathways is in this section. You can open it up, select the project, and download the speech evaluation. We're going to go to Paths and Learning today. In Paths and Learning, you'll see effective coaching, engaging humor, and motivational strategies. Now you see here's presentation mastery. I just purchased it. It just happened to come in quickly because there's not a lot of activity at Toastmasters International right now. These are all available to you. We're going to select, we'll select presentation mastery since we're talking about folks that may be brand new. You open the curriculum, you click the words, not the down arrow. The down arrow's got a lot of technical stuff that we don't need at this point. Now, if you see over here on the left, you got some dots that are white dots with a blue circle around them. All these are at 0%. We've not done anything at all. We're going to select level 1. You see here all of the panels. Okay, this is an accessible one. Let me go back to one of the other paths that is not accessible, so there's not any confusion for you. Let's go into effective coaching. If you notice on effective coaching, level 1 has a blue check mark. That means I've finished level 1. If I were to click on level 1, you'd see that each one of the projects in it has a blue check mark. And then up here at the top, this bar graph says 100%. That means this is completely finished. If you would, once you've finished it at 100%, you can view certificate, and it'll show you a picture of a certificate with your name on it, which you can download and print if you would like copies of the certificates for each path and each level. Each level has a certificate, and the path itself does. Now we're going to go to level 2. You see that I finished, got a blue check mark on understanding your leadership style. And the bar graph is at 25%. If you notice here, these first two say launch, this one says activate. That lets you see at a moment's notice where you are. This one, I have been in there before because it says launch. This one says activate. That means I've not been in this particular project looking at the electronic content yet. We're going to launch this second one. And it will take a minute for that title to load, again, depending on your bandwidth, the number of people active on the TI website at the moment. It's moving pretty quickly tonight because there's not that many people online. You see them at the congratulations page. That's the last page in this context. I was looking at that page showing some teaching. You see I've not done the assess your skills after section. If you do not do your assess your skills before and after, you will not be able to complete this project. We will get to that in just a moment. This is the last page I needed to do. If I were to assess my skills and read the information, choose my answers, go through this assess your skills after. I skipped past this page the last time I taught this. I'm going to click submit. And it showed, as you saw, the before and after answers. And I go to the congratulations page. And then I close this screen out. Go back to the open curriculum page. So you've got some talking in his background. I'm going to mute him. I go to communication style. And it'll open the curriculum. That's not where I wanted to go. Let me close that out again. You see I'm at 50% in level 2. This is the screen I wanted to get back to. The blue check mark is here. The blue check mark is here. That means I've finished these 2 projects. Then this turns from launch to evaluate. You click on evaluate. It's going to give you feedback to tell Toastmasters International what you thought about this particular project. You click continue. There are a few questions that they want you to answer. You can select answers. You can put comments in there if you like, but it's not necessary. There are 4 multiple choice questions, and you submit your final answers. You see this turn back to launch. Your evaluation is complete. That evaluation is not required, but it does provide a little bit of feedback to Toastmasters International on how they're doing with the Pathways project. Now that we're going to start Introduction to Toastmasters Mentoring. I've not been here yet. I'm going to show that to you. First, you click Activate. The only thing that happens is the screen flashes and this changes to launch. You didn't do anything wrong. That's the process it goes through. Then when you click Launch, it'll load that title into the screen and bring you up to the project information for that path and project. Again, it does take a minute for this to happen. It'll start with the Introduction to Toastmasters Mentoring, the title screen. You have to click the Begin button. You read this information. I won't take time to read it now, but I'm going to run through a few pages to give you some ideas on what's going on. This gray chevron to the right is the chevron that you use to move forward to the next screen. It tells you your purpose, your overview, the 5 to 7 minute speech, all the things that are necessary. You see this red line under a red print? Whenever you see red printing with a red line under it, that is something that you would use to click on to have something that you can print to keep for yourself. This is a project checklist. This helps you to get a checklist of what you need to do to complete this project, if that's something that you need to do. Now we're going to go back to this page, your assignment. See down here at the bottom, whenever you see a blue or maroon box, that means there's more information that you can look at. You click this, it will give you some more information here, sometimes about how to run this particular screen, sometimes about the project itself. When this top screen is grayed out, you cannot see the chevron. You've got to click the more information to make this go down and turn this back white in order to move forward. Remember that. So many people have gotten stopped when they got a screen and it was gray and they couldn't move. Click the blue box, it goes away, this turns white, and you can click the screen to go forward. Here's your assess your skills before. You've got to answer each one of these questions in the same way that I did the assess your skills after in the previous level. These assessments are to help you to see how well you improve from before and after this particular project in this particular path. I'll come back to that later. It talks about the competencies in this particular project that you can learn. There are over 300 competencies in Toastmasters Pathways project. These are the ones for this particular path. Talks about being a mentor, what a mentor is, and how long you need to operate in that program. And again, what did I say about boxes? Maroon boxes or blue boxes tell you something more. Click each out and review the traits of a successful mentor, etc. You click this one and it tells you information about that. You click that one, it tells you about personal experience and wisdom and informed perspective. Click on the second one, it gives you two more below it. You see the maroon shows something that's hidden. You want to read all of this information because there's a great deal of information here. When I first started in Pathways, I had given over 500 speeches, but the information that's available here is valuable, and I've learned a great deal from it. I encourage you to read every word. You can even go back. You see this button down here at the bottom, select to move to another section. You click on this, I can fast track back to the beginning or to any particular page, such as traits of a successful mentor, where we are now. I can quick move to any part of it to go back and review it. Even after you've completed the whole path and it's gone to archive, you still have the permissions to go back and read this information again, to study it, refresh your memory. I go back and research these things all the time. There's a great deal of information here that you're going to learn from. There are some that are just reading to do. There are others, you see this is a maroon box. Remember, it's hiding something. Okay, this one's not, never mind. Here's a maroon box. Role of virtual mentor, you click next. Benefits of virtual mentorship. Next, create a global community. And next, expand learning. Remember, whenever there's a box that says back or next, or some maroon or brown or blue box, 99% of the time, it will show you something else. Do not miss anything. Here, the directions tab, it tells you to use the back and next buttons to view the various slides. Don't miss anything. There's a lot of good stuff in here. Talks about the protege. Lynn had a great presentation tonight in our class about being a protege. Successful protege skills and attitudes. Remember, here's the maroon box. They're hiding more. Keep looking, keep digging. And as you dig, you'll find more and more information that you can use. Sometimes there will be videos, sometimes PowerPoints, sometimes just things to read. As you go through all these readings, you will be able to learn more. Remember, maroon boxes tell you more information. Keep looking, keep reading. Are there any questions about how to navigate these boxes? This is your training session. It's much more interactive than the simple printed books that we had in the past. And see, it comes to a video. You can maximize the video to your full screen.
Mentoring gives you the opportunity to support and nurture a fellow Toastmaster over an extended period of time.
If the phone rings, you can pause it and then replay it.
Involves work.
When the phone stops, when your phone call is over, and it'll bring you right back where you started. Here's the project checklist again to review what you need to do in this particular project. This is the evaluation page. This is where I was going to. The evaluation resource. This button right here, you click on it and it's going to give you your evaluation form for this particular project. Once you put this information in Free Toast Host, it'll be available there, but it's available here for you where you can look at it, review it, pass it on to your evaluator if you choose to, even before the agenda is created for a project in which you are going to be working. And here's the one for Print My Project. If you click this one, it will give you a PDF form of this book and everything that we saw, all the information. Here's your assessor skills before, challenges, the competencies, everything is here. You just won't have the video. All the other information is right there, including your evaluation form. And it's just like a printed book that you would get in the traditional education program. So the evaluation page, you click on your evaluation. That's where you can go to on a quick move to get the evaluation form for your project to send to your evaluator.
Now, how do you send it to your evaluator?
That's a good question. I'm glad you asked. I'm going to show you the easiest way to do that, and it's not within Pathways. It's going to be in Free Toast Host, and I'll show you that in just a moment.
Okay.
Again, there's assessor skills after. You need to do the assessments before and after to complete the project. A lot of people forget to assess their skills after they finish the speech. They can't understand. They got to this page, but because they didn't do this, it doesn't show in here that the project is complete. You see, I went all through those slides, but it doesn't say it's complete. I've not done the assessments. I've not done what I need to do to learn from it. Any questions about that?
Huh.
You saw when I did the final assessor skills after, in that last project, which I'd read before, it turned it to the blue check mark and moved it to 50%. When I go back through and actually read the content, do the assessment skills before, the assessment skills after, then this one will turn blue and be completed as well. That's the basic navigation of effective coaching.
So you're responsible for doing your own assessment?
Yes. And again, that assess your skills before and assess your skills after is only seen by you and the computer. Therefore, you can be brutally honest with yourself before and after, so you can see how much you've progressed, what you've learned, and how your skill levels have improved each time you complete a project in levels 1 through level 5 in each path. Each path has 3 to 4 assessments, and you move forward from there. Okay. Any other questions about navigating pathways within Toastmasters?
No.
Okay, I'm going to move to the website. This is our Free Toast Host website. When you get to the website, you log in. You click meeting agendas. Okay, let's create a new agenda so I can show you what I want you to see. And Nancy and Regina and Clint can correct this once they get ready to put next week's agenda together. Okay, I've created an agenda. And I'm going to put myself in as speaker number 1. Y'all can correct this to whoever the speaker is scheduled for next week. This is just going to be an illustrative purpose. Okay, you go to the agenda, you're scheduled as speaker. If you notice, under my name is one blue box. Remember, blue boxes reveal things? Only one blue box is showing. Now, when I choose my path, let's say I'm in presentation mastery, the one that I just created, the one I just purchased, I select my icebreaker. I put icebreaker for presentation mastery in that blue box. All of a sudden, 2 more blue boxes popped up. They weren't there before. They don't get there until you as a speaker put your information in the chat. And you put your speech title in the chat. And you put your introduction in the chat, which is basically what you want the Toastmaster to say to introduce you. There's one more important step to take. Click Save Project / Speech Details. When you click that, a box will pop up, says your speech information has been saved, thank you. If this box doesn't come up, that means that somehow or another, maybe when you clicked it, you moved the mouse or something like that, but didn't save it. You got to click while you're not moving the mouse. You get this up, that means it's saved. Then you close it. Information is there. These blue boxes are still here. Now, if your evaluator wants a copy of your evaluation, all they got to do is sign in themselves on the website, come to this agenda, and click evaluation form. Now they've got the evaluation form right there in front of them. Got the member name, the evaluator's name, speech title, the date, and put the information about what they excelled at, what you want to work on, challenge yourself, select the various things that they've done, how well they did it. Comments over here if you want to. Down here is the information about how to fill in this page. Once you've finished this particular project, you click the download, or you can click the print. If you click print, there's 2 things you can do. You can select your OfficeJet Pro or whatever your printer is and print a printed copy to give to somebody. You see all the stuff is in it. Or since we're remote, you click on that and change it to save as PDF. You save as PDF, this changed from print to save. When you click save, it's going to bring up your dialog box. I always put these on the desktop so it's easy to send them out. So I'll put this evaluation resource and say it was to Nancy. Maybe I was evaluating Nancy. I click save. And that's gone away. The next time you try to print something, it's going to click save as PDF. If you really want to print it, you need to change it back to your printer for your computer. Then your print button comes back. And you're done. Now, let's go to compose an email, Nancy, subject, evaluation, evaluation attached. Click the little attach button at the bottom. It may be different depending on your computer setup. I'm going to go to desktop. At the very top, because I've got it sorted by date modified, here's Nancy's evaluation resource that I saved to my desktop. I click that evaluation resource and select open. It puts it right here. It's there, it's turned blue. That means it's all there and it's done.
Okay, Dewey.
Yes.
Dewey, okay, now when you were doing sending, go back to Toastmasters, go back to Pathways where the evaluation, where you had the evaluation. And wasn't it in Pathways? The evaluation was in Pathways.
Well, I showed it in Pathways, but I'm showing the easy way to use this is in Free Toast right here. This button clicks.
Right.
Evaluation format.
Okay, so that's in Free Toast right there. Or is that the easiest way to access?
This is a link in Free Toast which
The
will pull up
pathways.
this straight out of Pathways.
Right, that's what I thought. Okay, okay.
That's
Now,
a hot
I've been
link.
printing this. I have been printing this instead of filling it out online.
Yeah, you can print it and fill it out if you want to, but my problem is after the ink dries, I have trouble reading my own handwriting, let alone anybody else reading what I said. That's why I love being able to type it online. I can type a letter
online.
faster than I
Okay.
can type the 4 lines that it takes to make an E. In one split second, I can type an E. I can type a little, although on a slow typer, I can put information in here a whole lot faster than I can writing it with pen.
Right. Okay, so we fill it out online,
You fill it out here,
save it.
and
Okay,
you can click download and save it with your changes to your desktop, or you can just cut to the chase, click the print button, and change from your printer name to save as PDF.
okay,
that?
yes, I can do that, okay?
To save as PDF,
Mm-hmm,
and you simply click save.
right,
It'll go to your desktop or wherever you want to put it in your documents. If you want to create a special folder just for evaluation form, you can do that. However it is you save things on your computer.
okay, good.
Okay, and once you do that, you click save and it's going to be there. So I'm going to put it here. This is another one for Regina.
Okay,
Now it's saved on my desktop. Remember, come back over here and change this back to printer. So the next time you want to print something from Microsoft Word, it'll actually go to Word and won't go to your desktop, okay?
right, okay,
And then you can cancel to put that away.
all right,
All right, now then I'm going to minimize this and take this evaluation form and delete it. This evaluation form and delete it because we don't need those here.
right, okay,
Since that was a bogus one. Now I'm going back to my emails. It's here. All I have to do is hit send, and this little bogus evaluation is going to go to Nancy.
mm-hmm,
We won't do
okay.
that today because you don't need that silly evaluation form with nothing written in it.
Right, I understand
Any
now.
questions about electronically creating evaluations? And remember, when you want a free TOSOS and put your information in here, your evaluator can receive it directly from you, just like I created that to send to Nancy.
Okay,
Hey, Dewey, I had a question. Go ahead.
You don't have to waste printer paper and ink, which are expensive, the ink especially. You can just send it to them electronically. They can save it on their computer, and they don't have the 5,000 reams of paper that have printed evaluation forms on them like I do in my file cabinet. All goes in a nice, neat little evaluation folder in my computer. What was your
okay,
question, Clint?
Okay. Sometimes when I access evaluations, either when I'm giving someone an evaluation or receiving it, sometimes the PDF is not accessible for some reason. I don't know if that's an issue for any other person, but like I can't. It's hard for me to figure out when I'm on my phone, or especially iPhone. It's hard for me to scroll over with, for the evaluation. I don't know if there's a way I can write in that. I don't know how to get the PDF accessible. I don't know what to do about that.
Well, again, everything that I'm talking to you about is on the computer. I do not use my phone for these things. So I can't answer that question. There is another person in our Toastmasters group out of Memphis that knows more about that, and we might be able to get some answers from her about how to navigate using the telephone.
Okay, thank you. Excuse me.
Any other questions at this point?
Can you do more than one path? If you're in the middle of a path and you want to change it, can you start all over, or do you have to complete that path before you get in another path?
Okay, if you notice in my curriculum, you go to the beginning and work my way back in. Pathways, go to base camp. Go to base camp. Paths and learning. I've got 4 active paths right now that I'm working on. Effective coaching, engaging humor, motivational strategies, persuasive influence, persuasive mastery. Okay, excuse me, I got 5 open paths right now that I'm working in. Presentation of mastery is active because I just purchased it to give you some understanding of how to do it. That'll be the next one that I do the next time around. But you can be active in as many paths as you want to. If you purchase a path and decide that you don't want to do it, you have 30 days to contact TI to change it. However, if you start one and want to start another one, you can start another one, be working on both of them, and eventually finish both of them. But you cannot get your money back after 30 days. But you can't get your money back anyway. You can just change the path if you contact them within 30 days of purchasing it to change it to a different path. But there is no actual money refund. But yes,
Now,
you
Dewey,
can work on many paths at the
when-
same time.
Now, if you open a pathway and it's a cost, then the system, will the system allow you to just move forward without having paid it, or will it stop you in your tracks?
You won't have access to the electronic content unless you pay for it.
Okay, so the system will prevent you from moving forward.
Right. Yeah, this persuasion master didn't show up in my file until I paid for it. It won't show up.
But
until
my
you-
point is, were you able to open it and move around in it progressively without having paid? If you activated that pathway, would it require you or stop you from going further without paying?
This path will not appear in your paths and learning section until you paid for it. So there won't be anything here to
Okay,
activate.
that's my
You won't-
point.
You won't even see it. Yeah, you cannot.
That's what I'm
access
saying.
any path
Okay.
unless you pay for it first.
The system will stop you from going forward with anything because it'll be grayed out.
It won't even show up in your educational content until
Okay,
it's paid for.
okay.
That's right. You cannot. Now, there is another resource I'm going to show you now. This is the best resource I've seen in Toastmasters. It comes from District 4. It has all 11 paths in it. If you want to know more about presentation mastery, you can click on presentation mastery. In fact, let me start here. I will copy this and put it into the chat. For those who would like to have it, great resource, share it with all of your other Toastmasters. So if I'm going to go to presentation mastery, level 1, here's the icebreaker. It tells the foundational project, the purpose, the overview, what the project includes. Evaluation feedback, it tells what all it takes. Research and presenting, it tells what it takes. Now, new level 1 projects. These are the projects in the original Pathways program when it was launched. All paths that are purchased after October 27th of this year have the new level 1 projects, which includes icebreaker, writing a speech with purpose, introduction to vocal for writing and body language, and then the evaluation and feedback. These are the projects that you will have if you purchase this path after October 27th of this year. You go look at level 2, you can see what all's here and what did they involve. Level 3 projects. You go down here and look at all the different electives. You need to choose 2 of these 12 electives. It's not necessary to do all 12 of these. I won't name any names, but there was someone who was trying to get all 12 done, and they can't do them all because they didn't look at this little bitty spot that said choose 2. But you can do 2 of these for the first path you do. You can get the same 12 options for the next path. You can do 2 more in it. By the time you got 6 paths done, you have all 12 of them done.
Okay, Dewey, as a Toastmaster who's gone through multiple paths,
Yes.
for instance, if I am engaging humor, that's my path. Would connect with storytelling be different in engaging humor than it would be in one of motivational strategies? Would those projects?
These 12 electives are identical in all 11 paths. It's up to you to decide how you adapt that. For instance, if I do connect with storytelling and I'm doing engaging humor, I might want to do that as a humorous speech.
Does it suggest that in the project, or would I approach this one, connect with storytelling in engaging humor differently than I would in motivational strategies?
That's up to you. If you
Okay,
can
but it's
imagine the
basically-
Pathways project, if you can imagine the Pathways program as a university for public speaking and leadership.
Okay,
And level 1 is all your core courses. Everybody does exactly the same things here. That's like your freshman courses: math, science, English, literature. Okay.
okay,
Level 2, you're going to get some basic information that will start to lean toward your path, but many of them are similar in many of the paths that relate to each other. When you get into level 3, you're going to have one path that deals directly with your major, and you get to choose 2 of the humanistic social electives, which are all the same in all paths, but you get to pick 2. Pick 2 that fit your profile, pick 2 that fit your quidities. We learned that word tonight.
yes, okay,
But you just pick 2 of these to do for that particular path. If you're doing humor and you want to try to make them humorous presentations to try to enhance your major field for this particular time through, you can do that. Or you can do it a different way.
all right,
And then in level 4 and level 5, they're more of the leadership stuff and things that are specifically toward your major, i.e. your path.
great,
Again, down here, these electives, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 electives, you got to choose one. These same 7 electives are available in all 11 paths. It's up to you to pick which one you want to do in each path. If you happen to like the public relations strategies, you can do that in 2 different paths if you want to. Or if your blogging is a wonderful thing that you enjoy, you could do that in more than one path if you want to. But again, it's up to you to choose which one of these you do each time you go through a path. In level 5, clearly some leadership stuff going on here. And then these 5 are the same 5 electives in all 11 paths, but these are all leaning toward leadership. In the beginning, you have your communication, your individual things. Level 4 and level 5 is more leaning toward the leadership side of Toastmasters. But in each elective group, those same electives are available in all the paths. That answer your question?
yes, thank you.
Okay. This is a great resource. Again, I put the link for it in the chat. Save that to your desktop and you'll be able to look at all the paths, all the projects, everything that's involved, all of the evaluation forms. It's all available here for you. Again, this is just the overview of each one. It doesn't give you all the electronic content that you have available once you purchase that path.
Okay,
Are there any other questions anyone has about pathways, something that maybe you don't understand or you're not sure about? We've got about 12 minutes left on our session. Mary, you've been rather quiet tonight. You got any questions or comments?
I'm listening.
Okay. Thank you for joining.
yeah, I'm
Well,
learning.
thank you for your explanation, because each time I hear it, I learn one more thing. And I'm sorry I didn't get the other people on because I didn't get emails in on my phone to forward it to them.
That's quite all right.
Get them there another time.
Have the same link every week, so you can take that link and transfer it all week long for next week.
Will do.
So you're saying, Dewey, that the path, if you're doing one particular subject in a path, you can overlap it to the other path, right?
The electives, for instance, in
The
level
electives.
3, there are 12 electives.
Right.
You have to do 2 electives each time you complete a path.
Okay.
But you have to do a different speech each time. You can't get credit in both paths.
Right. You
Right.
can't do one speech and get credit for it twice.
Right.
Right.
Now,
can
now
take
let me clarify that. If you have a speech that, let's say I give a speech about the rabbits in my backyard.
Mhm.
And I use that for Connect with Storytelling speech in presentation mastery. If I want to give that same speech again months later to the same club or to another club as a Connect with Storytelling for a different path, I could do that. But the idea is it's a speech given at a different date and different time.
Okay.
The
You're
one
still-
speech on a given date and time can only account for one project. But if you repeat that speech another time, you'll get credit in another project. Now, I might take that rabbit speech and one time do it as a Connect with Storytelling speech. And another time, I might use it as a using descriptive language speech and focus on the language rather than the storytelling part. Or another
It's to
time,
your
I might
benefit,
be able to
though.
give that speech as an understanding vocal variety speech. And I can really do some vocal variety when I tell that story about the rabbits. So you focus on a different aspect of the electives with a speech, and you can take that speech and give it.
Each time though,
Three
you're to
different
take the
ways.
feedback you got from it and use in that speech too.
Exactly. That's why they have level 2 set up the way it is. Excuse me,
But-
level 1, the evaluation and feedback. You give a speech, get your feedback, and a different meeting, you give the same speech again, or a new speech, improving on it based on the feedback that you received. That's the purpose of feedback, to learn how to improve what we've done and to do it better the next time, whether you're giving the same speech or another speech. If they give you some tips on how to adjust your vocal variety, even if you're giving another speech, you can improve that speech based on what you learned from your evaluation.
Right.
So whether you give the
Well,
same speech or another speech, you can still improve each time you give a speech.
I wanted to clarify, if you do it as an elective in one path and you're going to do it in another path, in order to be effective for your learning skills, you take the feedback you got from your first path that you presented and apply it to your second path.
Yes.
But also,
To take that one step further, any evaluation you receive from any speech can be applied to future speeches
Mhm.
because you develop your skill level, you stack one set of learning on top of another. If they teach me something about vocal variety, or for instance, Joyce Moore teaching me something about grammar in the speech that I gave, I can take that and apply it to every single speech I do in the future.
Oh, yeah.
And as you grow by doing that, applying all of the feedback to the future speeches, that's why I've kept all of my speeches. That's why I've got a whole file cabinet full of evaluation forms. I can go back and review them and remember the things that I've been taught and continue to apply them to hone my skills and get better. You had a comment, Nancy?
Well, I was thinking, I was looking at all in level 3, all of the electives. And I was thinking, if you took one speech and you were really working on it, say your international speech contest item, or some where you were presenting something outside, you could visit other clubs and have the same speech using all of these electives, evaluations.
Exactly.
Yeah, I see.
Very
what you're
good
saying
point.
there.
In fact, when I came in 3rd place in our district, I gave a speech as an advanced speech, and a 15-minute speech at Saline County. And the entire club stopped the meeting and said, you need to give this as an international speech. Take this out, take this out, take this out, change that, adjust that, tweak this. It'll be a great speech. So for the next 3 months, I went from club to club giving the same speech, focusing on a different aspect of the competent communicator manual. One time I dealt with organization, another time I dealt with vocal variety, another time I dealt with body language, another time I dealt with grammar and structure, all the different aspects of the competent communicator manual, which are many of the aspects in this particular level 3
Correct.
electives. I gave that same speech 10 times in 10 different clubs. 5 of those times I did it as a target speaker for their evaluation contest. So I got anywhere from 4 to 6 evaluations mutually
Okay.
exclusive for one speech that I gave. Therefore, I got close
And
to
that brings
30
up another point.
evaluations. I got close to 30 evaluations from those speeches. And each time I took the information of those evaluations, see how can I improve what I'm doing with that. Then I went back to Saline County, gave that speech again. They were amazed at how much different it was because I had applied the feedback that was useful and took it all the way to district.
Okay.
And Mary, you had a comment.
Yes, sorry for interrupting. I've learned that if I raise my hand, it's better.
Yeah.
I wanted to add, when you said you got all the feedback from giving that main speech and you had all those evaluators, we need to apply that principle in our clubs. It isn't just the evaluator that can give you feedback. If you are a speaker and you want feedback from the rest of your members in that club, put your email in chat or in an email, enabling the members to use their listening skills and practice their feedback skills and send you some comments on your speech.
Very good point. Thank you, Mary. That would give you even more feedback than just the assigned speakers. Nancy?
I know, Mary, at the Capitol Club, when the gentleman gave the speech in preparation for the eulogy, wasn't that your club? The gentleman came
Yes,
Yes.
from Canada and
yes.
gave the speech, the eulogy.
Uh-huh.
I sent him an evaluation in the text.
Yeah.
In the chat. So even you could use the chat as far as sending evaluations. I wasn't the evaluator, but as a listener, I sent him an evaluation.
Thank you, because Brian appreciates all the feedback.
Mhm.
Right.
And when you put it in chat, make sure that the speaker is saving chat. And maybe if everybody knows how to save chat, I don't. But
Yeah, he sent me back a note.
Yeah.
So he received it.
That's good.
He sent back a note during the meeting.
And in this electronic age that we've got, we have to learn all the new tricks to the trade and how to do them.
And some clubs, the other club I visited in California, everyone sends an evaluation a written evaluation in chat to the speaker.
excellent, excellent.
That's not a bad idea either.
That's a great idea.
But right now, way ours is set up, that evaluator is listening to that speaker is listening to the next speaker to evaluate them. So it would be different.
Yeah.
You know, that probably would work better if the speaker after speaking would be free and not really concentrating on the next speaker, but reading the evaluations. But like Mary said, they would need to save it.
If you save it, then you don't have to
read it
take,
after the meeting.
Yes.
yeah, read them after the meeting. Don't read them during the meeting.
Right. Okay.
Because in the legacy program, we used to have those little slips of papers and I taped them into all my manuals. So this is just the same thing, but it's done on the electronic way.
I remember the legacy. All right. Thank you, Dewey. Thank you very much for walking us through, especially the
Any other
saving.
questions that anyone has? We've got about 2 minutes left.
When do we do this again?
Well, every first Monday night, I talk about pathways. However, every Monday night, except the second Monday, I will be presenting on one subject or another. And when that subject is complete, then I could answer questions from any topic of any kind. We cover on the second Tuesday, I'm in the deck meeting because that's the night they've selected for that. But Denise Carpenter is on talking on that night. So every Monday night we have a training session. But if you go to the dedicated to members website, which I put in the chat, let me bring that up again for you. And put it in the chat here. I believe I put it in the chat in the Northside meeting a few minutes ago. I'll put it in our chat now for those who would like to see it. The link for tonight's meeting is in the chat, as well as the dedicatedtomembers.com. If you go there, you will see a full list of all of the classes that are available all of the time. Let me share my screen for a moment, and I will show you the DTM website.
Dewey, is that vocal variety one on that website?
Now, the vocal variety is a level 3 elective. Here's a dedicated members website. It's dedicatedtomembers.com. You click schedule sessions, and it'll show you all the sessions available. Here's the pathways, which I'm on tonight. And then tomorrow night from 5 to 6 o'clock p.m., Denise Carpenter has got an anti-Toastmasters topic. Anyone who wants to talk about anything available from 5 to 6 tomorrow night. Next Monday night, we got the president's meeting for presidents who need to learn more about their job, as well as me talking about the Zoom etiquette on next Monday night. And then Denise, every Tuesday at 5 o'clock, she has it open for any questions. The third Monday of the month, I talk about free toast. The third Wednesday, Alex Hawkins talks about pathways. And then here's my VPE class, which is that's the third Monday. Meeting roles is available from Margaret Robinson on Tuesday. Again, the president's meeting and free toast the next week. And pathways, Joyce Biddle on the fourth Thursday of each month. She's a great teacher as well. You'll be able to see by going to DTM.com. You'll always start with the current week's information, what is there. And you can just simply, if you go to dedicatedmember.com, you simply click on this box and it will take you straight into that meeting. You got to remember to click into it when the meeting's actually open or nobody will be there.
Dewey, what I was referring to is that speaker we had on just vocal variety.
Oh, the one with vocal variety on steroids, is that the one? That was a speech title, I think.
Vocal variety on steroids is actually a speech that is saved to the dedicated members website under the recorded sessions.
I don't know if that's the one that Toastmaster Mary was talking about or not, but.
Which one are you referring to, Mary?
I believe his name was Steve from our district. He was from District 106 or 6. We had him as a special speaker.
I remember Jim Emery talking about vocal
Oh,
variety.
I'm sorry. His name is, yes, it's Jim Emery.
Yes.
And where do you have that link?
Let me share my screen and show it to you again. In the dedicatedmembers.com, you go to recorded sessions. Speeches and evaluations on the right-hand side. Here's vocal delivery on steroids by Jim Emery. Here's my Zoom etiquette class, Zoom best practices, membership growth, VP membership, VP education, all kinds of things. VPR Facebook by Melissa Belinsky, great presentation. Here's one by me on free toast, one on Denise Carpenter building an accountable club. She's taken 3 different clubs that had 4 or fewer members and turned them into charter strength clubs in the last 6 months. It's an incredible project she's done. And here's one by Sunny Fridge on hybrid meetings. She is a pro on using Zoom and creating hybrid meetings. Great presentation there.
What's her name?
Sunny Fridge.
Okay.
She was a member of an online club before COVID hit. She was the one who initially taught us a lot of what we knew.
Thank you.
Well, I'm going to officially stop the recording.